What's up, yo? That's my heckler number one, right there. Man, I didn't know leprechauns could rock out like that. Did you see that? Oh my goodness, look at you, dude. You're rocking for that pot of gold, weren't you? That's good stuff, man. How are you guys doing? Man, it's great to be back here. Man, I love speaking here. This is my jam right here. I love you guys. And so maybe you guys don't know me. My name is Joel Vallie. I actually work here at Sagebrush, and I also lead the Young Men's Addiction here on Thursday nights. So this series is called Distractions, and we've seen a couple distractions so far. We've seen the world. That was series one. We've seen ourselves. And this week, we're going to talk about distractions of others, okay? People in our lives. So just a little recap. A distraction is anything that prevents someone from giving their full attention to something or someone. So in the case of, let's say you're a believer, a Christian, okay? A distraction would be anything that takes your eyes off of God. That's your goal. Our goal as Christians is to get closer to God, to be more like Him, and then hopefully tell as many people as we can about Him, okay? But I totally understand not everyone in here is a believer, we're here, but that doesn't mean you still don't have things you want to achieve in your life too, like goals, right? Like maybe it's your sobriety, and your goal and a distraction would be whatever came in that path that distracted you from obtaining that sobriety or obtaining that reconciliation of your marriage or obtaining that goal that you need to move on and get over the death of a loved one, as hard as that is, but it's time, Whatever your goal is, a distraction is anything that's going to get in that way. Anything that's going to get in that way. So this week, we're going to talk about others. So here's my question to you. Who are the people that are distracting you in your life? Some of you guys aren't going to like to hear what I got to say. Sometimes I come up here, I be the funny man. I'm not going to be a funny man today. Maybe I'll tell one joke. I don't know. But I put some categories. I grouped it in categories today. And the first one, if you're taking notes, is the time stealers. You guys know these people. These are the people that you can actually see coming at you a mile away. You see them, and man, if I talk to this person, 20 minutes of my day is going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to achieve anything, And I'm not trying to devalue anybody, but what I've noticed is distracted people distract people. Did you get that? It's deep. Distracted people distract people. It's true. A lot of the times, these people just got so much going on in their life, and they come to tell you about their problem and stuff, and then 20 minutes go by, and you still don't know what the problem is. I don't know what they're trying to get to. Or it's that person at work that comes over to your cubicle. You ever had it all planned out? Okay, today I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And then you start, and you're focused, and all of a sudden someone comes up. Hey, what's that? And you just start talking, and they're talking about, grandkids you don't even know that they're theirs, And then and they leave, and you get back to work, and then another one comes, and another one comes. And then at the end of the day, you're like, what happened to the day? You ever been there? Like, what happened to my day? And it's just distraction and distraction. Those are the time stealers. The other ones are the non-believers. I'm not talking about people who don't believe in Christians, okay? Don't all put your rocks down, Don't stone me. I'm not talking about the non-believers, like Christians. They don't, like people who aren't Christians. I'm talking about non-believers. They don't believe in you. Do you understand this? These are people who, they know you're trying to get sober. They know you're trying to walk with God. But yet, they still offer you a beer. They still tempt you. Maybe you're trying to, kick heroin. And these people know that. But they don't believe in you. They don't believe in your goals. They don't believe in your dreams, man. They're the non-believers in what you're trying to do. I know people who are walking with God every day. They tell me the situations that they have to go through. every day to walk with God. Because either their spouse or someone that they live with, like in some cases their whole house, makes fun of them, tempts them. Those are the non-believers. And I know that I've heard a saying that you never get rid of habits. You just replace maybe bad habits with good habits. And there's a verse in the Bible. It's in 1 Corinthians 15:33. It says, evil company corrupts good habits. It's one of the first verses you learn. It's pretty simple, man, but it is so powerful. Just think about that. Evil company corrupts good habits. I'll tell you what, when I know a lot of you guys here, and there is so much potential in this room, and I see you guys come week after week because you want to better your lives, because you want to take some of those old habits and replace them with good habits. But if you have the wrong people in your life, the distractions, they will turn your habits, they will corrupt your good habits. The next one is the believers. Am I talking about Christians? Yes, I am. This time. Okay. Now don't get mad at me yet, okay? What I'm talking about is, and I've seen this happen a lot, someone gives their life to God, and they're gung-ho, and they're ready to serve, and I believe in serving. I believe you should find a ministry, you should serve in that ministry. I believe you should join a small group, and grow and learn with people. I believe that. And I'm not talking about sagebrush here, but I've been in the ministry for 13 years, and I've seen it happen. I've worked in churches that happen where they say, okay, now that you're a believer, I want you to work Saturday services. You need to volunteer. You need to serve both services on Saturday, and we got 4 on Sunday. We'd like to have you there too. And if you could you please lead a small group? And then we have youth on Thursday. Could you do the youth room? And then to children's ministry, if you could just take care of that. Do you see what I'm saying? And then guess what? I've been a victim of this where I have gotten up, I have served God all day long in the church doing things, and then going home, quick eat, go to my a drug rehab center that my wife and I had, and go there, spend all day there, and go home and go to bed. Served God all day long, but I didn't spend 1 minute with him. Not one. I'm telling you guys, that doesn't count. All that time, it doesn't count as your time with God. Your one-on-one, your alone time, you're getting in that word and growing spiritually with him. I've been there, and I see it happen a lot. It's okay to say no, okay? It's okay to say no. But I know, man, Christians sometimes, they I don't know what it is. They just want you serving in everything. And I'm not talking about sagebrush. Don't get me called into Todd's office Monday. I don't want that, okay? Don't misunderstand me, I'll tell you, one time I was, can't believe I want to tell this. One time I was going to Bible school, okay? There I am in this big auditorium, an auditorium the size of the one we got over there, okay? It's filled with about 2,000 people. I am just saved, okay? I want to learn. I am there at this Bible school to learn. I'm absorbing everything like a sponge. I just wanted everything. You ever been there? Just like, teach me. I want to know it all, So there I am. We're in chapel, and the preacher's preaching, and I'm learning. I'm absorbing everything. The preacher's preaching, and I got this friend right here. He's like, hey. I'm like, what, dude? He's like, hey, man, after this, man, we need to go to the mall because I got to pick up some stuff, And I'm like, hey, man, I'm trying to learn, chill out. And he was all like, oh, man, I'm sorry. So I get focused again. I start listening. The preacher's preaching, and I'm all into it, and I'm absorbing everything like a sponge. And all of a sudden, he's like, hey. I'm like, what? And I got like kind of with him, He's like, man, I met this girl the other day, Christina. Oh, my gosh, you got to meet her. And I was like, dude, come on, man. I'm trying to. And he's like, oh, sorry. So I get focused. Preacher's preaching. I'm absorbing everything like a sponge. I'm loving it, everything. And all of a sudden, hey. I'm like, dude. And I put on my gangster face. I'm like, what? What? puff out my chest a little bit. I'm, what? And you could tell he's all mad, or he can tell that I'm mad, but he says something anyway. And at this point, I don't even remember what he said. And I said, and I feel bad. I go, dude, shut up. Like that. And his face instantly, he got really sad. You could tell he was hurt. I was like, dang. Oh, well. I'm focused, right? Preacher's preaching. I'm absorbing everything like a sponge. Everything's hitting me, man. I'm like, he wrote this stuff for me. This is awesome, man. And all of a sudden, psh. And I lose it. 2,000 people in the auditorium, and I shout, man, don't you ever shut the blank, blank, blank. Preacher, stop preaching. All you heard was about 2,000 people go, oh, my wife's here. She remembers. She's back there. And I was just like, oh, my goodness. That was not a good day for me. That was not a good day. It was not good when I got called in the Dean of Men's office. And they're asking me, why are you dropping the F-bomb in chapel? It was a bad day. But sometimes God puts us through these situations so we learn something. And the thing that I learned there was if you don't get rid of the distraction, you will fall. Plain and simple. There are distractions in your life, and if you don't get rid of them, you will fall. And that day I fell hard. And that story is still told to this day at that school. And the next one, if you're taking notes, is the heartbreakers. The heartbreakers. Who is this? This is someone at your work. This is someone at your gym who you are giving too much time and attention to when you know you shouldn't be. Because that attention should go to your spouse. These are people who are distracting you. In your marriage, these people are placed there because not only will it destroy your marriage, it will destroy your relationship with God. Man, if there is a distraction, you need to run from that thing. You need to run. I always say this when I come up here, God loves addicts. You know why? I mean, I have no right to be here, because I was a crackhead. I was in a mental home, and God somehow saved me and brought me. He lifted me up. Praise God. Praise God. But I tell you what, I'm just obedient, and I do what he tells me, and he's taking me just all across the world to preach the gospel. Why? Because I became addicted to him. That's why he loves addicts, because he knows if he can get a hold of them and they get addicted to him, it's over. He can use it because addicts, yeah. Because when addicts, man, when we do something, we do it with all our heart and all our passion. When I did coke, I did it with all my heart and all my passion. I'd be like, all of it. But when I turned that addiction to Jesus, man, I just did it for him and him alone. And then with my wife, I'm addicted to her. And if a heartbreaker comes around, I'm gonna run. I'm addicted to my wife. I love her, the passion and the baby. It's getting hot in here all of a sudden. Whew. Man, if there is a distraction in your workplace and you know it's a distraction, I don't care what it pays, get out, because it's going to cost you more than you think. That paycheck isn't worth it. So what do we do? How should we live our lives then? So I kind of touched on it, the first part. Separate yourself from the people who are distracting you if you're taking notes. Separate yourself from people who are distracting you. I know what some of you are thinking, but aren't we called to love everyone, Joel? Yes, we are. But you know what? But you can love them from afar. I'm going to love you from way over here, brother. You ever heard that saying, I got your back, way back? You know what I mean? You can love someone, just love them from way over here, man. Like if there are distractions in your life, you need to separate yourself from them. So look, let me just throw a verse up there. Let me throw a passage. I'm going to throw some word at y'all. So we got Lot, we got Abraham. These are two men of God, strong men of God, prosperous in everything that they do, okay? And it says, Lot also, who went with Abraham, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. Next verse. And there was strife between the herdsmen and Abraham's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. Strife. That's the key word right there. That is problems. That is distractions. That is something is going on there. So go to the next verse. Check this out. So Abraham said to Lot, please let there not be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Next verse. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. Please separate from me. If you take the left, I will take the right. If you take the right, I will take the left. There's strife here in this relationship. It may not be these two men directly, but in the company that they hang out with, there's strife. Sometimes my Christian friends, they don't get along with my non-believer friends. There's strife. But they decided the best is to separate. And there's other instances in the Bible where they had to separate because there were some issues going on. It's okay. It's okay. Now, wives, husbands, don't misunderstand what I'm saying here now. I don't want to be called in Todd's office and be like, hey, man, what's going on? What'd you preach on? You're like, my husband's a distraction. My wife's a distraction. Don't misunderstand me. If you made a covenant with that person, if they don't believe in what you're doing, you got to continue. You got to fight the race. You got to believe in them. You got to pray for them, you know. And there's grounds for things and stuff, but that's a whole nother sermon. I'm not here to preach on that. I want to preach on distractions, you know. So don't misunderstand me. Don't be getting me in trouble. Yo, okay. I'll tell you what. One of the greatest decisions I ever made was when I got saved. And I was in Michigan, and all my friends I knew from when I was a kid, friends that had taken punches and bullets from me, friends that I love dearly to this day, but they were distractions when I got saved. And I take my sobriety, and I was taking my walk with God seriously. And the smartest thing I ever did was with the money in my pocket and the clothes that I had on my back, I left to the other side of the country and started a whole new life. And I went to Texas. Because I take it seriously. Some Texas fans in here, yeah! Because I take my sobriety seriously. I take my walk with God seriously. And I will do whatever it takes. If there's a distraction, I got to get rid of it. I got to get rid of it. And you know what? Years and years and years later, I went back and I helped them. But there's no way that I was in a place to help them until I helped myself. And there's a lot of people in here tonight. You can't help those people until you help yourself. You need to help yourself first. You need to get those distractions and separate yourself from them. If you need another verse, I'm going to kick one to you. 2 Timothy 3 says, but know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, and from such people turn away. Listen, and I'm not saying, oh, I can't go to the jail ministry no more. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're talking about people that are right here, that influence you, that can distract you. Because these are people who are lost, and we need to reach out to them. But if they come so close that they start to influence you, that they start to distract you, then there's a problem. So please don't misunderstand me. Because those people, we love those people. We need to reach out to them. You see what I mean? The last point, and then I'm almost done. You don't have to hear me no more. Is we need to surround yourself with the right people. Proverbs 13:20 says, "He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed." You need to surround yourself with people who do believe in you, who do believe in what you're trying to do, who do believe in your sobriety, who do believe in that, okay, you're trying to reconcile your marriage. What can I do to help? Okay, you're trying to get over the death of a loved one. I'm here for you. Okay, you're trying to get closer to the God. I am not gonna ask you to go to clubbing with me no more. You know what I mean? Because, not that clubbing's bad, but yeah, anyway. I'm just saying, okay? There are people that you need in your life. The right people, the encouragers, the ones that are going to lift you up, that are going to help you achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. I know that when we had our first kid, and they said, we have to take the baby out now. It was really early. They said, you have to take the baby out now or she's going to die. You're going to lose your wife and you're going to lose your kid. And then they took my baby out, and then I couldn't even touch my baby for weeks because she was so young. And my wife was in the hospital getting worse. I'll tell you what. I'm so glad that I had my friend, James, with me. He was right there, and he was praying for me, and he was like, we're going to get through this. God's going to be okay. Because sometimes, even when you expect the worst, but it's worse than you expected, you're going to want that person there to help you, to not be a distraction, not fool around, but to be there to help you through these hard times. It says all over the Bible, iron sharpens iron, where two or more are gathered, God is there. It is so important that we have that person there. Now, what I would like for y'all to do, if you don't do it, I'm just going to give you a little method that I do. With my goals, whether they're big or small, I write them down because I have to see it. I have to see my goals. So I would encourage you guys, tonight, tomorrow when you wake up, whatever, after you're thinking about things, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Is it your sobriety? Is it your reconciled marriage? Whatever it is, write it down and put it somewhere where you will see it every single day. And when you see it, I want you to ask yourself, who's distracting me from getting there? Who's distracting me from getting there? Not only that, think about all the other distractions that we've talked about in this series. And when you see that goal, say, what is distracting me from getting to that goal? What is distracting me from getting? Because you might have to separate yourself from people that you've been with all your life. I had to do it. And it was one of the greatest decisions I ever made, because then I could focus. Because there's a lot of people here, that God is just waiting to use you. Some of you, he's using you already. For some reason, you guys are here tonight. Despite all the distractions that have happened this week, you guys made it, man. You made it here. And God has a plan and a purpose for you. And all I want to do is see you guys walk that out. Because he's like, oh, I can use him. Oh, I can use her. Oh, I can use him. He's like ready. But sometimes you gotta filter out those distractions. Proverbs 12:26, and I'm going to end with this verse. The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray. Just think about that. Let's pray.